Grab your coffee, grab your chart. From the harbor lights to the shipyard start. Every wake and wave, every job out here. We're talking real life stories, my maritime career. This is my maritime career. From the docks to the deep out there. Dreams on deck and your path so clear. Set your course with my maritime career.
Hey, I'm Trey at Bluewater Maritime School in Jacksonville, Florida. Welcome to my maritime career. I'm here with the man, the myth, the legend, Erick Selva. He's our director of operations. And you know this is a serious video because we both got our hats on. So that's how you know we're going to talk to you about some serious stuff today. But Erick, tell it for the people out here just getting to know us on our little channel and all that kind of stuff. Just tell them a little bit about who you are and what you do here at Bluewater.
Well, awesome, Trey. Thank you. Hey, I just wanted to say hello to everybody, prospective shipmates. I know that you're looking, maybe you're looking to have this as a career, merchant mariner career. Awesome. It's one of the best careers possible. So let me tell you a little bit about myself. I spent 25 years in the service. Pretty much my first ship that I actually steered was an aircraft carrier. I was about 18 years old when that happened.
That's just crazy to even think about. Just to even think about, I steered an aircraft carrier. Oh,
like
all right.
3,500 people. So I did a lot of time on ships. So I've been in aircraft carriers, I've been in fast frigates, I've been in multitude of amphibs. But also I was part of the elite 1% of the SWIC teams, so I was assigned to the Naval Special Warfare Groups. That's where the SEAL teams and everybody else comes in.
Gosh, it's crazy.
So I had a wonderful 25 years in the service. I've been all over the world. Most of my time after the wars and everything else, I pretty much spent a lot of time in the Middle East, which is a lot of pretty much what's happening right now.
Yeah, that's what we're going to talk about today. A lot of activity. Appreciate Erick for his service and what he's done. This is one of the coolest things about Bluewater. And clearly, right, I'm biased. I know I'm here and I want you to come here and all this kind of stuff. I'm amazed at the talent level that we have in this place. From our director of academics to Erick, our director of operations, to our instructors. It's absolutely amazing. And Matt, what he just said, that is rare. You're not going to find a lot of people like this. But one of the reasons I wanted him to talk to you today is there's a lot happening right now in Iran with the Strait of Hormuz, right? Did I say that right? Did I get that close to being right? Okay.
Strait of
and
Hormuz.
there's a lot of chatter out there. And I know you're probably seeing a lot on your TikTok feeds and on your social media feeds with just different ships and things in the news and things not looking good. And I want to make sure that you have good information to balance all that out, right? That you could understand that if you're thinking about starting a maritime career, now is as good a time as any to begin, regardless of what you might be seeing on social media or hearing from some friends. So I thought we could talk to someone who's been there, done that, right? You hear a lot of people talking about the Strait and Iran and all that kind of stuff, but I'll bet most of them haven't been there. And I bet most of them don't know much about the maritime industry. But I happen to be sitting with somebody right here who's been there and knows a lot about the maritime industry. So tell us, when everybody's talking about that area and everything, just tell us about geographically, like how many times have you been through that area and everything?
God. Probably more than 25 times, maybe 30 times. Different times, different years. Under conflict also. So
just like what's going on right now.
Yeah, my first, absolutely. This is, I may want to venture to say that this happened. If you read because now I'm old, but if you read upon back in the 1986, 87, there was 86, 85, 86, 87, 88. We had a challenge also with Iran, and they started putting mines in the zone, and tankers same thing, oil prices went up. So I was there. I was part of the SWIC teams. So we were part of the U.S. forces, making sure that the tankers could go in and out because they were laying mines and everything else. So just to give you a overview, we have so many good allies in that region. So we have many U.S. bases in the Middle East. We call that the North Arabian Gulf. And all the oil platforms, there's two major oil platforms, Abac and Kayat up there. That's where they're getting their fuel. It's all the way inside at the end of, it's by Iraq. All the way, they call it the North Arabian Gulf.
Okay.
So throughout that entire thing, if you're going through the Strait of Hormuz, and everybody has to go through that, it's about 21 miles stretch. You got as you're coming in, you have Iran in the left side and UAE, which is Dubai and everybody else in the UAE. Then you keep on passing. You have Bahrain in the other side. Then you start getting into Saudi Arabia, Abu Dhabi, Jebel Ali, all the way up to Kuwait. There's a lot of things, but just so you know, there's so many military assets out there that right now there's about 400 merchant ships that are kind of like in a standby right now, if you will.
Yeah, trying to figure out
Trying to figure out
different things.
we cannot go in because they closed it. So where do we go now? So a lot of the ports they've been going to Saudi Arabia. They anchor out. They do a lot of away from all what is going on. As for U.S. assets out there, just so you know, one of the things that Iran liked to do was lay mines, to impede the actual traffic of.
And we're hearing about that now, too.
Exactly. But just so you know, the U.S., and I could talk about the U.S. of what we do, is that they got mine countermeasure boats. So they sweep the areas where the tanks are going in. They have different teams up there that are taking care of different things.
Different teams taking care of different things. That's code for stuff that you don't know about that's going on.
So yes, and just so you know, a lot of there's so many assets out there. Right now we have, of course, Israel, which is aiding the U.S. and other countries in the Middle East are also aiding because we get to all the aircraft get to land there, they get to refuel up there. So we're talking from Saudi Arabia to pretty much even in the Mediterranean, because we got ships in the Med, we got ships in the mouth of the Indian Ocean. So it goes Indian Ocean, Strait of Hormuz into what they call the NAG, the North Arabian Gulf. So all of that is the area, but safe to say is that I did it for 25 years.
Wow.
So in and out.
So this is why I wanted you to talk to them, because you have experienced being in the area and region. You understand the military side. You understand the maritime side. And so I think there could be some people sitting out there thinking, oh my gosh, I don't want to end up in that situation, right? Not everybody has to be on a ship that's going through there, right?
Absolutely.
So that's kind of what I want. First, before we talk about how we train them to be safe and all that kind of stuff, but just talk about like, how do you end up on a ship that's there, and how much autonomy does someone have out there to where they get to choose which ships they're going to be on and all that kind of stuff?
There's just so you know, when you join the merchant mariners, there's different type of ships. The way that we look at it right now in the Persian Gulf, going through the Strait of Hormuz, the main merchant mariners are going through there are on board tankers.
Right.
Tankers meaning that they're getting raw fuel.
Yeah.
Okay, raw oil, and they're coming out and then they disperse to the entire. So
that's why we're hearing so many news stories about the price of oil going up and all that kind of stuff. So they're on tankers, usually carrying oil or fuel coming through.
So just to go into the tanker side, you say, well, that's what I want to do it. I want to, because it's not just going to the Middle East, because you could go to the Middle East and say, wow, there's a lot to see out there. I mean, for those people that always say, oh, Dubai and, Jebel Ali and Egypt and all of these places that you say, wow, that is a totally different culture, great food, great friends. I've met a lot of good people out there. So it's not so much of, I want you to take away that in the long run, there are good people out there. Okay,
Yeah,
it's not, I don't get too broadcast with media because
it's a good point.
I was there in the Persian Gulf, and sometimes I scratch my head when I saw the news, and I'm saying, I don't know what they're talking about.
Wow.
And I'm here.
Wow. That's an amazing thing to think about, man. And by the way, I want to make sure everybody gets this too. Like, none of this is meant to be any kind of a political statement about anything.
No.
We want to make sure that you have real information from real people when you're making your decision about going to school somewhere. That's really all we're trying to do. So none of this is politically saying we agree, disagree, none of that kind of stuff. This is literally about you. You're in the process of making a decision. We want you to have all the information so you can make a prayerful, knowledgeable decision about where it is that you end up. So some people end up on an oil tanker, but a lot of people don't.
So you have a choice. Let's say, for example, somebody says, well, you could get this ship that is a tanker, and says, well, I don't want to be in a tanker. I want to be in a roll on, roll off, which is the ones that carry vehicles.
Vehicles, okay, yeah, roll
Right?
on, roll off. Because cars
So-
roll on and they roll off, right? Is that
Exactly.
it? There you go.
So anything that rolls off and roll on, that's what they call them, roll off and roll on.
And they're not going through the strait. They're nowhere in that area and everything.
They're
Yeah.
usually, Germany and China, not China, but Japan,
Yeah.
Korea.
Yeah.
All the wonderful cars that we get, from overseas,
Yeah.
Mercedes-Benz.
And even the tankers that are coming through, that's only 25% of the tankers. So there's 75% of the tankers that aren't in that area.
Exactly.
So there's jobs where they're on tankers, but then there's lots of jobs, like you said, roll on, roll off, probably container ships, cruise ships,
cargo ships.
So there's so many other jobs that are not. And then, so talk a little bit about
There's fishing.
I was going to say, not even
Alaska.
not international. So talk about more local, CONUS or
Oh my
rivers,
goodness.
tugs. Talk about that stuff.
Out here, when you're saying CONUS, and I know Trey, he's using already.
That's right. I'm trying to
Yes.
use the words because I hear him say the words. It makes me sound
CONUS
smarter.
stands for Continental United States. So it's little acronyms that we have. So in the United States, or CONUS, there's so many jobs too, because you got the Mississippi River, you have the Great Lakes, you have Alaska, so all the way around where there's coastal. So you could be doing the same thing. There's cargo, there's fuel, there's delivering coals, there's tugboats.
Tugboats, right? Yeah.
There's cruise ships.
We had 6 tugboat captains here just a few weeks ago from a company
Absolutely.
from the Great Lakes and everything. So there's so much work out there that's
So
not
Alaska.
international.
Alaska fishing. There's a market for it, and we've had students up here go to Alaska and do a lot of the great things that they do up there. So I don't want you to just your mind has to be kind of open, so it's not just one thing, and it's going to happen to me because I'm joining the Merchant Mariners, and that's going to happen to me. Not necessarily, because just like everything else, there's different jobs.
There's different jobs.
There's different jobs, different ships, different countries that you could just say, I'm not going to be part of the Middle Eastern side, I'm just going to stay in Japan.
Yeah.
One of the wonderful things about being in the Merchant Mariners is going to Japan, one of my favorite places in the world.
Yeah.
So
That's so cool.
Oh my God, yes. Australia. You start going into anywhere in Canada. Victoria, Vancouver, beautiful countries.
And you can see all of that
Absolutely.
working and getting
Absolutely.
paid. So one of the things I'm hearing is you have a lot of autonomy in deciding what you want to do ultimately, right? Now, clearly,
Absolutely.
once you go to work for a company, you work for the company and all of that sort of stuff, but you can make decisions of whether or not you're going to be with a group where you might be out for an extended amount of time or not out for an extended amount of time, going to this area of the world or not going to that area of the world.
How long you're going to work for.
A lot of flexibility, a lot of autonomy. And again, the main thing we want to communicate is just if you're seeing certain things in the news, you're seeing certain things on social media, have this extra information so that you can make a good decision. So I want to pivot a little bit because this is where, when Eric and I were talking about this week, do we want to even do this? Because part of this is we might be telling you something, you go like, oh my gosh, I hadn't even thought about this stuff, and now you are thinking about it, right? But no matter what, you're going to hear about it.
And not only that, you could actually give us a call.
Oh, yeah.
And
reach
say,
out
hey,
to us.
reach out to us and say, hey, give me a little bit more information.
Give me a little bit more.
And we do that on a daily basis.
All
So,
the time.
Yeah.
But when I was talking to Eric about it, this is what I loved, is he immediately went to, here's what we do to help people be prepared, right? Because that at the end of the day is what it's all about. Regardless of where you end up, you need to be prepared. So the chances of something happening
Regardless of what you do.
That's right. You need to be prepared. So
yeah.
I don't know, just talk to them a little bit about what our focus is when they come here. How do we help people get prepared? That sort of thing.
One of the biggest things that we do is that we give an orientation. We say this is how we do things here at Bluewater. So as soon as you walk through Bluewater, just pretend that you just went into a ship.
Yeah, that's what Eric tells them all the time.
I always say
This is the
this
ship.
is like the USS Bluewater.
Yeah. Yep.
So
Here's Erick's talk. This is the ship. This is my ship, and I'm the captain. So don't let you. No, he don't get all that.
that will never happen. But
If you're getting that talk, your class did something wrong. I can promise you that.
yeah, but a lot of fun. You know,
It is a lot of fun.
we have a lot of fun, and I could tell you, as a matter of fact, I just came from my office, and I had one of the students that have been here for almost a week, and he had a whole bunch of questions about, oh, what's the procedure, MMCs, how do I get my credentials? So, and I have an open door policy, so anybody could just come in and sit down, and we welcome that.
Yeah, I love it. So tell them a little bit about safety focus here and how we help them learn to be
Oh my God.
safe
So you
while
know
they're
something,
doing what they're doing.
you know, a lot of things that that future merchant mariners don't know is that you're going to be in a ship. The ship is your house. Okay, so the ship is, you know, a lot of folks say, well, what's more important, me or the ship? And automatically everybody says me, of course.
Yeah.
Well, you're in a ship in the middle of the ocean. If it was just for you and you didn't have the ship, where would you be? In the middle of the ocean by yourself swimming?
In trouble.
You know, we don't want to be there. So one of the things that we do is that we prepare each of our students or alumni once they graduate to ensure that they know the basic fundamentals of how to deal with emergencies around the ship, whether it's survival skills, life rafts. So you get to go to the pool and have some fun and flip some life rafts, and that's called the personal survival training that we did, which is really, really, really a lot of fun.
Yep.
So also one of the things that we do is that, of course, we have the CPR course that we do.
Yep. CPR.
You know, so just in the event that something happens. And the good thing is that it's not just learning those skills, they could help you at home too.
Yeah,
so,
yeah, true that.
So it makes you a better professional, you know, wherever you go. So another thing is that a lot of folks don't know that every mariner is a firefighter.
So that's cool. So I didn't know that, right?
Yeah.
I've only been here a year. This is new to me. I'm learning with all of you.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're firefighters for real.
For real.
For real.
So we take you all the way from, so if you look at it, you're going to dress up just like a firefighter, you know, like what you see, you know, every single day outside, you know, your house. You know, no lights and sirens stuff.
Yeah, but they get the turnout
but
gear.
You get
they
the
get
entire
boots.
thing, the SCBA, the boots, the flash gear, the helmet, you know, the breathing gear, the entire thing. So, and you get to fight fires, and you get to know what the difference between a paper fire is, which is a class alpha fire, a Bravo fire, which is a fuel fire. Charlies are the electrical, and Deltas are magnesium, metal. And then you got the new ones that is K fires, which is for kitchen.
Look out now. Now I'm going to have to charge. You're giving me too much content.
But yeah, so it's a lot of fun. I think that out of all the pictures that we get of students that they say, take my picture,
That's the one where they all want a picture.
Everybody wants a picture with their ensemble and everything else.
Yeah.
So you get to fight some fires. We have
in a controlled environment.
In a controlled
there you
environment.
go.
Yeah. It's got to be controlled.
Yeah. Because we're learning, right? We're all learning.
We all learning, but it's still about 600 degrees.
Yeah.
So you know, we want you to, if you're going to make a mistake, we don't care about mistakes. Because that's how you learn.
That's right.
Okay? I'd rather you do it with us than do it somewhere else.
Yes.
So yeah, and then what the great thing is that all of our courses are certified through the Coast Guard.
That's right.
Every instructor is handpicked twice. Okay? It's handpicked by the Coast Guard to teach, because unless the instructor has the credentials, they cannot teach. You have a lot of knowledge up here.
A lot of knowledge. I told you, man, I said at the beginning, the instructors and the staff here are absolutely phenomenal. We have a little saying that, you know, at Bluewater, we do more than training.
Oh, I love
more
that
than
one.
training, right? So it's not just about transferring content to people. It's about transforming people with content. And that's what happens here every day. And I love how the instructors talk about they wear different hats. Some days they're an instructor hat, and some days they have on their dad hat, and some days they have on their coach hat, and some day, right? They just wear different hats to meet the needs of the people where they are and help transform their lives so they can get out there and start doing stuff. So we just, like I said, wanted to take a few minutes today to talk to you about what's going on in the Middle East and maybe put some of those fears to rest for you. I agree with what Erick said. If you have any questions, feel free to drop us an email, give us a call. We're happy to chat about it a little bit more. But we wanted you to have some balanced information about what's really going on so that you can make a decision and everything. And do you have anything else you want to say to the group in closing?
Yeah, closing. I always say that if you want to be a doctor, you ask a doctor. Don't be asking somebody else who doesn't have the knowledge about what's going on. So this is one of the reasons that we love educating, and I can tell you that I just wanted to let you know exactly, because there's a lot of wow, I don't know if I want to go there, but you have other opportunities as a career in the Merchant Mariners. And not only that, I mean, when you talk about 2 weeks of training, starting $65,000 to $75,000 a year, you don't have to be. You have to be 16 years old. Okay, you don't have to have a high school diploma, but we encourage it.
Yes.
And it's a wonderful thing. I never thought that after I retired, I would have a chance to say I'm going to work and I'm skipping, happy to come to work.
Happy to come to work.
So yeah, if you haven't experienced the Bluewater experience, you need to.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a wonderful thing, and I can guarantee you're not going to regret it. Yeah. And we have so many other things coming up.
Oh my gracious, yeah.
And we're going to say that later on.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I'll tell you, we have career centers.
Oh yeah, there's a secret.
I have to tell you because
he wouldn't tell you nothing about the Navy stuff that's going on for secret out there, but he'll tell you about our career navigation service.
Yes, but I'll tell you, great things are happening.
Yeah. And
please give us a call. Ask some questions. Don't be afraid of what the future, we love for you to take a challenge. If you're at that point that you're saying, what I'm doing is not working right now, just give us a call. I think you're going to make the right move.
Thank you for joining us on My
Absolutely.
Maritime Career. We hope to have you back soon. And as I've been ending all of these, just with kind of the same little thing, make this your Bluewater year. We'd love to see you here. So until next time,
Absolutely.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Take care.
Grab your coffee, grab your chart. From the harbor lights to the shipyard start, every wake and wave, every job out here, we're talking real life stories. My maritime career. This is my maritime career. From the docks to the deep out there, dreams on deck and your path so clear. Set your course with my maritime career.